Hey guys, my name is Vanessa and today I have 3 new dinner recipes to share with you guys. They are sort of along the lines of dump and go, one pot style dinners, and they are all using the Instant Pot for this video. Now, I did have one recipe that the taste was fantastic, but have you ever gotten a burn notice on your Instant Pot? I have been using mine for several years and I have never gotten it until that recipe, and I know exactly what happened and I know how to tweak it. I asked over on Instagram if you guys still wanted to see that recipe, even though it was sort of a fail, I guess. My pot's fine, everybody still enjoyed it, but it did take a little extra scrubbing to clean out that pot, you know? Everything kind of stuck to the bottom. And all of you guys, well, not all, but a good portion, way over half, said yes, you would still like to see it. So I do have that one included within the 3 recipes. So let's go ahead and dive right into these scrumptious, easy dinners. Egg roll in a bowl in the Instant Pot. Super easy and delicious. First up, we're gonna go ahead and hit the saute button so it starts to warm up, and I have mine on more, but you could do normal if you wanted. If you guys are new to the Instant Pot, the saute button is just like using your stovetop. Sesame oil adds a lot of flavor. You can use whatever kind of oil you want, but if you have sesame oil, I definitely recommend. I'm going to add probably about a teaspoon. I'm just going to shake it a little bit all over the bottom. You hear that sizzling? I've got 1.5 pounds of ground turkey, adding in 1 small diced onion. And then in this bowl, I'm adding in about 1/2 tablespoon of minced garlic. And then this is ginger. I bought them in these like little freezable cubes. So I'm going to use 2 of those cubes. And like I mentioned, I am just going to cook this like I would on the stovetop to make this like a dump and go, one pot type of meal. My turkey is still frozen just a tad in the middle, but this should take me maybe 5 to 8 minutes to fully cook my ground turkey. Once your ground turkey is completely cooked through, your onions are also gonna be nice and tender. Go ahead and turn your Instant Pot off because you won't be able to use another function until you do that. For my liquid, you need 1 cup of any kind of liquid for your pot to come to pressure. So what I've got here is 1/3 cup of soy sauce, and then I just filled it up until it said 1 cup with chicken broth. You could use water if you want, if you don't have any kind of broth, or really any kind of broth will do. I have plenty of chicken broth on hand, so that is what I am using. And then I always season everything with some salt and pepper. So if you guys are kind of watching your salt, feel free to omit that, but we really enjoy it. So we've got some salt and pepper. And then lastly, there's 1 bag. I'm adding 2 of these 14-ounce bags of coleslaw mix. You do not need to mix anything either. That you just leave it sitting right here on top and it's gonna cook perfectly. We've got everything in there. Close your lid. Always make sure it is sealing and not venting, or your pot will not come to pressure and it will not cook correctly. And then we're gonna come over here, and I have a manual button, whatever button. I know there's tons of different types of Instant Pots. So mine, manual, puts it on high pressure. So whatever button, if you have a pressure button, you can put it on low. You just wanna make sure that your pot is on high pressure. And then we actually are going to do 0 minutes. Now, that just means when it comes to pressure, it's going to have like a 0-minute countdown. It's automatically going to say, beep, we're done, we're at pressure. But it is gonna take about 5 minutes, 5 to 8, it just depends. I do have a pretty full pot here. This is a 6-quart Instant Pot. It might take 5 to 8 minutes to come to pressure. And then once that happens and it beeps and says, okay, your cook time is up, we are going to do a quick release, which just means we're going to move our knob from sealing to venting and release all of that pressure so we can open up our pot and enjoy our dinner. All right, my time is up. It's actually been about a minute. Once your Instant Pot, the time is up, it goes to L and it starts counting up. And that's just how long it's been sitting here keeping warm. There's still pressure in it. If that knob is up, that means there's pressure in your pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and release that. All right, let's open our lid. It's not up at the top anymore. You can see how it definitely Did not take any time at all to cook up. That coming to pressure was plenty of time. So I'm just gonna go ahead and mix this all together. All right, you guys, so the options are endless. Use whatever kind of seasoning you want if you want to add anything to it. This is kind of different, but the last few times I've made it, we've had this multi-purpose Japanese seasoning from Trader Joe's. I know it's a little different, but it just adds a little extra, like, unexpected. So I like to sprinkle a little bit of that on top. You can put some fresh chopped green onions on top if you wanted to, but like I said, the options are endless. And this is something that is super easy if your family's not a huge fan of it for dinner. I've also meal prepped this for lunch for my husband and I before. So like I said, just super easy, quick meal in your Instant Pot. We are going to start with the sauce. And first up, I'm adding in an entire carton, which ends up being 4 cups of vegetable broth. And this recipe is super easy to cut in half. 4 teaspoons of sesame oil. I'm just gonna kind of eyeball it. 1 teaspoon of ginger paste. I've got this little container or tube of ginger puree. I've got about 2 teaspoons of minced garlic. Oh, I think I said 1 teaspoon of the ginger. It is 2. 2 and 2. 2 ginger, 2 garlic. Now we're gonna go in with about 1/4 cup of soy sauce. And then 2 tablespoons of vinegar. I like to use rice vinegar. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So I've got this red chili paste, and I'm just gonna put in about a spoonful of it. And last but not least, we're gonna add some sweetness. And as you can see, I'm totally saving myself on dishes tonight. And I'm just putting in like a huge pinch, little handful of brown sugar. I'm gonna add a little bit more because my kids definitely like this, a little more on the sweet side. That is everything for this sauce, and now you're just going to whisk all of this up. Now that we've got our sauce mixed up, we can get everything into our Instant Pot. So I found this box of Chinese style lo mein noodles. It is a 14 ounce. I'm gonna go ahead and cook the whole thing. I do have a 6-quart Instant Pot. If you have a smaller one, this will not fit. You'll have to half this recipe. I am also going to break my noodles in half. 1, they fit better, and 2, it's less messy when your kids are slurping them up. Pouring my sauce that I made over top the noodles. And we're just gonna add our veggies on top. So I have 1 red bell pepper that I cut into small little slivers, and then I have 1 large carrot that I kind of did the same too. I just cut into small little slivers. I'm adding that on top. And I've got 2 green onions that I chopped, and a 16-ounce bag of frozen broccoli. Lastly, I've got half of a cabbage that I sliced up. All right, you do not need to mix this together. Just go ahead and get your lid on. Make sure that knob is sealing, not venting. Whatever pot you have, whatever button you need, I know they're all different. You just need your pot to be on high pressure. So first, I've got to press my pressure cook. My pressure level is already on high pressure, and look at that, I must have made hard-boiled eggs last. I have my cook time of 4 minutes. That's all I need for this recipe as well. Now it is gonna take probably a good 10 minutes to come to pressure because my pot is pretty full. I have a lot of liquid in there. So it's probably gonna be more like 14 minutes total. But when my time is done and my pot beeps and it goes on to keep warm, I'm going to do a quick release, which just like the first recipe I shared, that means my knob, my little button here is up. My pot still has pressure in it, and I'm going to turn my knob from sealing to venting. Okay, so I originally was not going to share this, but I figured, you know what, I'm gonna share it because it is still edible, and just in case you guys are new to the Instant Pot, this is the first time I have ever gotten a burn notice. I've been using my Instant Pot for years now, and I think it is because I chose to use the chow mein noodles, which are a thicker noodle, and I made a pretty big pot. So if you guys want to make this, the flavor is fantastic. It's actually a little spicy, like actually it's a lot of spicy to me, but it's got a little kick to it. So definitely be very easygoing with that red chili paste. But spaghetti noodles I think would work fantastic, and you probably won't get the burn noodle. But if you guys can see how thick that sauce turns out, and it's like it gave me the burn message because the noodles are burnt on the bottom. So this is going to be a pain to clean, but the flavor is still good, so I still wanted to share. I pulled a little bit out so I could taste test it before I serve it up, and I opted to top it with some sesame seeds. So there you go. Not necessarily a fail, but first time I've ever gotten a burn message on my Instant Pot. We are going to turn this into this, and it took probably about 20 minutes, and that's it. We are going to start with the sauce and add in a 1/3 cup of soy sauce. Now, normally you would add in 2/3 cups of beef broth, but I remembered earlier this week I used chicken broth and I still had some in the fridge. So I'm opting to use up the rest of my chicken broth instead, but typically I would use beef broth if I didn't, want to waste not, want not, something that was already opened in the fridge. And I'm going to add in about 2 tablespoons of honey and just whisk these together. Okay, moving to my pot, I'm going to open the lid and press the saute button. Once your pot is hot, go ahead and add in some oil and 1 chopped shallot. And we are just going to cook this until it begins to soften. Just a few minutes. I'm adding in 1 cube of ginger. This comes in a frozen packet, or if you have fresh ginger, about 1 teaspoon. And 3 garlic cloves that I minced up. And we are just going to cook this just long enough to kind of melt that frozen ginger cube. I did go ahead and turn my Instant Pot off, and now I'm going to add in the sauce mixture and some beef that I cut up into little slivers. Now, you could use flank steak. That's what I've used in the past. This time when I was shopping, I could not find any, but I did find a package of beef for sandwich steak. So I went ahead and picked that up, and again, just cut it into little slivers. Time to get our lid on. We don't want that on venting. Make sure knob is sealing. And we are going to make sure whatever button you need to for high pressure. And I need to cook this for 12 minutes. Once the cook time is up, again, it's gonna take a few minutes to come to pressure. Then it's going to count down my 12 minutes. Once my 12 minutes is up, I'm going to do a natural release for 5 minutes where I don't touch anything. I leave the pot pressurized and let the steam release naturally, and then I will come and turn my knob to release any remaining pressure. Okay, meanwhile, while that part of dinner is cooking, I do have 2 Instant Pots because that is just how much I love them. You could totally cook rice on the stove however you want to, but because I do have another Instant Pot, this is my favorite way to cook rice, and this is what we're going to serve our beef and broccoli with. So we've got 2 cups of rice in here. I did go ahead and rinse it. Now, sometimes I rinse, sometimes I don't. It really depends on what I'm using the rice for. If you rinse your rice, it does tend to be a little more fluffy and does not stick together. If you don't rinse it, it is more of a sticky rice. So tonight I want mine more on the fluffy side. So I've got 2 cups in there, and then I am going to add 2 1/2 cups of water. And I'm also going to drizzle a little olive oil in here. This is something I've never tried before, but several people swear by it. Adding olive oil or any type of oil to your rice in the Instant Pot really helps it take it up a notch, and it's super fluffy. So we are going to try this out, and obviously I will share with you how it turns out. So instead of just dirtying another spoon, my hands are clean. I'm feeding my own family. I'm just using my finger and moving that around a bit, getting my lid on, making sure it is sealing, and it did not beep because my Instant Pot is not plugged in yet. Let's do that. Okay, awesome. And then my pot does have a rice button, So I'm just gonna press that, but you can see here, if yours does not have a rice, it is a low pressure for 12 minutes, and I am going to do a quick release. All right, 12-minute cook time is up, a 5-minute natural release is up, still pressure in the pot, so let's go ahead and release the rest. Okay, all of the pressure has released. I can open my pot, and I am going to carefully spoon out 1 cup of the liquid. To that 1 cup of liquid, I'm adding half a tablespoon of cornstarch. And I'm going to give that a good whisk until the cornstarch has dissolved. Okay, I'm going to turn my pot off and then get it back on saute and add my slurry mixture back in. My rice is done. I'm letting that pressure release, and I'm just going to keep this on saute and stir it up until the sauce thickens. Once your sauce is slightly thickened, go ahead and add in a 16-ounce bag of chopped broccoli florets. Give that a good mix. Once you've got that broccoli mixed in real good with the sauce and beef, go ahead and put your pot on warm. I'm gonna go ahead and get my lid on, leave it on venting, and once you put that lid on with the keep warm, the timer starts. I'm gonna let it steam for about 5 minutes. Meanwhile, my rice is done. I just used a fork to fluff it up, and I have to say that oil worked pretty well. Look how fluffy that rice is, not super sticky. I'm excited to finish my meal and sit down and eat some dinner. All right, dinner is done. I did leave mine in for 10 minutes since they were frozen. They definitely needed that extra bit of time to steam up. I went ahead and chopped up a green onion just in case anybody wants to add some. As for mine, I'm just going to sprinkle a little red pepper on top, and this is going to be a dinner tonight. All right, so I'm definitely gonna be using spaghetti noodles next time. I think that will definitely help out in the Instant Pot instead of those thicker chow mein noodles. But like I already mentioned, the recipe was fantastic. The taste was really good. If you guys don't have a high tolerance for spice, that chili paste was very, very spicy. I will not add that much in next time just because me. I am the weakling in the family. Spice, I just can't handle too much of it. But I hope you guys enjoyed these videos. If you did, hit that subscribe button, stick around. I have a lot more coming up. If you guys are new to the Instant Pot, I have a fantastic video that you guys are gonna wanna check out here, giving you all the tips and tricks to it. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.